Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today we are looking at something very old and now very rare. We are looking at the 1967 release by Corgi from their James Bond series of die-cast models. And this particular one we're looking at today is of the Toyota 2000 GT as it appeared in the hit Bond movie You Only Live Twice, which starred Sean Connery as James Bond. Okay, so this is the box in front of us. And at the front of the box it says Special Agent 007 number 336 James Bond Toyota 2000 GT from the James Bond film You Only Live Twice. And if I turn the box to the side, you've got the Corgi logo and it says 4 concealed missiles, James Bond and AK, twin jeweled rear lights, plated bumper and trim, detailed interior trim and seats, spoked wheels and secret instructions. And it's copyright Eon Productions and Guild Rose Productions Limited 1967. Made in Great Britain, die-cast scale models. And if we turn it back over to the other side, you've got the same again. The image of the car flying through. With James Bond firing his gun out the back and Aki driving. Special Agent 007 number 336 James Bond Toyota 2000 GT from the James Bond film You Only Live Twice. And again on the side you've got Corgi Toys with the Corgi logo, and it's die-cast scale models, Playcraft Toys Limited London, made in Great Britain. And if we turn the box to the end, it's got Corgi Toys number 336, packed with action, James Bond Toyota 2000 GT. And if I turn it around the other side, we've got exactly the same again. I'm not quite sure what that tiny writing is. Oh, it's trademark registered. So, okay, so it says Corgi Toys, and that tiny writing underneath says trademark registered. Number 336, packed with action, James Bond Toyota 2000 GT. Okay, so there we are. That's the box. Now we're going to open the box up and have a good look at the actual model itself. Okay, so I've removed the model from the box and it's on its display plinth here, which is in bright orange colours, and it says on the display plinth, Special Agent 007 James Bond from the film You Only Live Twice. And you've got an image of AK and James Bond, and it says Toyota 2000 GT with 4 concealed missiles, and you've got an same image that was on the box on the side there, and you've got the Corgi logo, the Corgi Toys, trademark registered, exclusive, authentic. And we turn the box to the side again, you've got the Corgi logo and it says Corgi Toys, and on the back it says Corgi 2000 GT with 4 concealed missiles, Special Agent 007, copyright James Bond from the film You Only Live Twice. Instructions and missiles, which would have been inside. However, the instructions are missing. Obviously, from something that's 57 years old, it'd be hardly unlikely to find them now. But there are 2 missiles which are still contained in the back of the car, which you can just see there. And we'll look at those in more details in a moment. Okay, so that is the display plinth, and there we have the car. Now the car is completely die cast, and it's die cast white body which goes all the way around, and on the bottom you can see you've got die cast metal everywhere, and it's got 007, and that's all in Japanese, I think, the rest of the writing. Corgi Toys, James Bond Toyota 2000 GT, made in Great Britain. Now you can tell this one's an original 1967 model by the Corgi logo, because it's the original Corgi Toys logo, and also that it's got made in Great Britain. So the later models didn't actually have that on those. So this is an original 1967 model. You can see you've got the number plate at the front there, and you've also got the number plate at the back with the same numbers on it. You've got James Bond in the passenger seat, turning around with his gun aimed at whoever's chasing them, and you've got Aki driving the car. You've got the flag on the side, and you've noticed you've got 2 bullet holes on the flag there, if you can just about see that, 2 bullet holes there. And on the later versions you didn't have that either, it's just a standard flag, and it was sticking up and it wasn't bent over like these ones are. Okay, so that is the model. Now, James Bond, now I'm think he does come out. I don't want to force the issue, but I'm pretty certain he does come out the car, but I'm not going to force him out, and I think Aki does as well, and they just press back in again. But as I say, I'm not going to try and force them out. Okay, size-wise, we are looking at a size of 10 centimeters in length. The width-wise, we are looking at 4 centimeters. And height-wise, if we measure from the bottom of the tyre to the top of James Bond's gun, it's 3 centimeters. That gives you an idea of the size. Functionality-wise, well, you obviously got the free rolling wheels as you do on all the Corgi cars, as you can see. Let's just move the camera back a little bit, and you can see that the car moves very smoothly. You can see you've got the spoked wheels there as well. Now that's the button there releases the boot. Now this particular one, unfortunately, it's a little bit stiff, and it's not releasing it. The boot won't close properly. But then, you know, what do you expect on a model that's 57 years old? But the muscles still do fire. So if I press down on the back of the, we're going to just angle the camera so we can see this a bit better. So I'll press down on the bottom, and we outfired the missiles. So the 2 missiles still function very well, and they just literally slot into the back of the car. You just press them in. Oops. As you see, the spring is sprung loaded. You just have to press them in, and they lock into position. Once you press them in, you feel them click, and they're actually locked in then. And then it's just a question of pressing the button to fire them again. So they are a little, there's one in. They are a little temperamental to get in, but there we go. And like I say, I can't actually close this boot properly. It doesn't actually shut properly, so it might need just a little bit of oiling or something just to lock it down, and then you can release it by pressing the button. But if you press a button and lift it, it will still rise. So there we are. And of course, as we've just seen, the buttons still fire perfectly, and the missiles still shoot out perfectly. Okay. Dual headlights, as it says on the front of the box there, and again you've got that press suspension to fire the missiles at the back. So press them down and the missiles fire. I've closed the boot now, so we're not going to see them shoot out. And so you've got the 2 figures driving, and like I say, it's a full die-cast metal model. I can't see any plastic pieces on it other than the flag and the windscreen, and obviously the figures. And inside you can see the detailed driving steering wheel and the gear stick inside there. There's not a lot of other detail in there really. Obviously in the driver's seats are plastic. The dashboard and the surround is all plastic, but the actual body of the car is all die-cast metal, as you would expect from Corgi of that age. Okay, so how well did these models do? Well, like any of the Bond models, any of the Corgi models come to that, they sold very, very well indeed. This particular one, though, you don't see as many of these as you do of the other Corgi models of the time. So you do see a lot more of the Aston Martins pop up. You see quite a few of although they're slightly later, the Lotus and so on. So there are a lot of James Bond cars that do pop up, but you don't see too many of this particular one, the 1967 release of the Corgi 2000 GT. I don't know why, because they've certainly done a massive quantity back in the day, and I'm sure it sold tremendously well. Because during the filming of this particular movie in 1967, well, 67 was the release date, but while they were filming it, it was announced that James Bond, Sean Connery, would retire from playing James Bond, and a new actor would be chosen for the next movie, which was the case. He did not appear in the next movie. The next movie was on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which starred George Lazenby as James Bond, which was the only film that he starred in. And then the following film after that, Diamonds Are Forever, Sean Connery returned to the role of James Bond. But then he did retire again, and he didn't reappear in Bond until the 1983 movie Never Say Never Again, which was not an Eon Productions movie. It was one of the other production companies that produced that film. So it wasn't an official Bond movie, if you like. Anyway, that's all political. And incidentally, another good thing about this movie, this was the first one where you actually saw Blofeld's face. Up until You Only Live Twice, Blofeld had only been seen from the neck down. But in You Only Live Twice, they actually revealed his face, which was kind of unexpected, as in the previous movies, you hadn't seen any his face. It was just his hands, his dress, his cat, and his voice you heard. And from the neck down, he was filmed. And of course, he was played by none other than Donald Pleasence, the late great Donald Pleasence. Okay, so yes, this car done terrifically well. They don't appear that often in the boxes, functioning with the missiles. It's very, very hard to find them like this, and this particular model is in absolutely fantastic condition. There is some slight chipping, as you can see, on the back of the boot there, which is probably where the boot's been lifted and pushed in and locked back down again. So it's yeah, that is the only section where I can see the boot's closed quite nicely now, which is interesting, considering that it wasn't closing earlier. But there we are. So yeah, there's a lot of well, I say a lot, there's a little bit of chipping at the back there where the boot closes, but ultimately other than that, I can't see any other chipping of the paintwork. There's a little mark on here which looks like a little dirty mark or something I can probably wipe off, but other than that, it's in absolutely fantastic condition. And obviously with the figures as well and the firing missiles, it just makes it an absolutely outstanding piece. So as I say, find them like this in the box with the plinth and in full working condition with very little marks on the paintwork. It's very difficult indeed. They do pop up from time to time on the platforms. I'm not going to lie to you, they do come up every so often. Most of them are without the boxes, or they're in reproduction boxes. This is obviously a very good box. There is wear along the edges of the box, you can see, and on the corners of the box, which is quite common obviously for the age, but generally overall very, very good. The ones that tend to arrive on the platform are usually with, as I say, without the boxes or in reproduction boxes, which you can obviously see straight away they're repro boxes, or they're just loose with chipping and damage, or they're missing the figures, or they don't fire anymore, the boot doesn't open anymore, or what have you. But very unusual for you to find one as good as this particular model. However, we at Midas Touch have managed to find a couple of these, maybe 3 even, and they are currently available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It'll take you straight to the website where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage James Bond items and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that this is something that you will not want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new products which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or maybe just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful old model with me. thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. Stay tuned.